The thing is, you can't really ride directly on the walkway area. But if you're on the streets, here, let me show you. I'm pulling the camera to show you to the left there. Hey, this is Russ. Yeah, we're back out on the road again. Where am I? Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, yep. And I'm not here by myself. Mrs. Wright is in the back behind us. We don't know where we're going. We've been here before, but we don't know where the best place for us to go would be. All right, this is a four-way stop, so I'm assuming that they should go. Let them go. We're gonna cross. So we're just gonna ride around, and Mrs. Wright is stuck over there, so we're gonna have to wait. Oh no, she's there. All right, I can't tell whether she's there or she's not. So anyway, Lake Geneva is really a touristy type of place. I know we're heading in the correct direction. Just have to wait to see if anyone comes. No one's going, so we'll go. All right, we are crossed. We're just gonna ride around. I really have no idea where we're going. We've been here before, but not on Ebikes. We've done the typical touristy things, and I know it's further down, but we're gonna go on the outskirts first, stay away from all the touristy stuff first, and then maybe we'll ride where the water is. We're not gonna go too fast. There's no real reason. What time is it? It is 12:50. 12:50. And we had a late start. We thought we would leave a little earlier. Let's take a left over here. See the water over there. Yeah, the thing is that parking seems to be paid parking for a lot of areas unless you park along the side streets, and even then some of them are paid parking. Let's stop here and make some decisions. All right, so Mrs. Wright says we can't go on the main strip, can't bike there, so I don't know what we're gonna be doing. I don't know if we're just going to be going around in circles in their neighborhoods or what, because if we don't go by the water, there's not much really to see. It's just like any other neighborhood. All right, let's just take a left. Let's see where it goes. I have no idea. Yeah, if we don't do the main strip, you don't get to see any of Lake Geneva. All we see is everything around Lake Geneva. That's okay for now, I guess. So what are we riding? We're riding the Magicycle Jaguar Rundies. I seem to hear cicadas or something. Yeah, I think they're cicadas. Yeah, they're cicadas. I'm looking on their trees, and they've got bugs all over the trees. See all these trees? Yeah, every one of them has cicadas on them. Well, I'm hearing it. They've got more than we do. They always said Illinois would have more, but I don't see that. All right, Mrs. Wright does not want to be on the major street with all the tourists because the cars will be there. So she says just bike around here. Well, you know what? It's just like biking in anybody else's neighborhoods then. That's okay. I guess that's what we'll do today. Personally, I don't mind being on the main street. I'm okay with that. But she's not, so she's not used to it. So how do we have things set up? Well, I have 2 batteries in the toolbox strapped to my rear rack. And Mrs. Wright has a battery on her bike. I have a battery on my bike. So we have a total of 4 batteries here. So we can go quite a distance if we wanted to. We're not going to be going fast. We're just kind of slowly looking around the area. There's a cemetery here to our right. But yeah, you can hear the cicadas. And I think this is the first time I've ever actually seen all the cicadas on trees. Because in our area, we don't have that yet. But, you know, even just from a distance here, I'm just looking at the tree trunks. I can see them all just being there. Let's go this way. So yeah, hey, there's a Chicago Cubs flag here. I'm kind of surprised they have a Cubs flag out here. I would tend to think they would be Brewers or something in Wisconsin. But hey, brave guy. Brave soul. The people in front of us have regular non-electric bikes. I figure I'd turn, maybe they know where they're going. I don't know if they do or they don't. They could be tourists too, for all we know. Well, at least this kind of gives you an idea of what the areas of Wisconsin looks like. So we ended up parking let's take a left here. We ended up parking across the street from the police department, and we were lucky to get a spot. That is a parking lot there. You don't have to pay for parking over there at all. And we just pulled right in. I think we may have taken the last spot because people were circling. Mrs. Wright saw it. She goes, "Take this spot, take it." Because once we get it, then they don't get it, right? So yeah. When we came up here, we wanted something to eat. So Mrs. Wright went to McDonald's, got a fish sandwich, and I got a KFC 2-piece meal. Which, of course, I can't eat all of that stuff because, biscuits and mashed potatoes. I ate a little bit of mashed potatoes, had the biscuit, and ate 2 pieces of chicken. Every time we've come here, I think this is probably our 3rd time here, we've gone to the KFC, and she didn't want the KFC, so just me. We ate it in the car. The McDonald's was basically across the street, so she just walked over there and got herself a sandwich. There's a car coming. Oh, she made it through. Yeah, I definitely hear cicadas, like a whirling sound, constant whirling sound. I even see some flying around. I kind of ducked because I would have hit me in the face if I would have kept going where it was. They don't seem to move too fast. They just kind of hover. I think our time will come when our area will have it. Well, let's just keep going. There's a nice hill up ahead. Let's see what that does. Jaguar Rundies, I think will do like 24 miles per hour. And there's cruise control on here as well. So the throttle will do 24 as well as the pedaling. Let me lower my pedal assist level here. I'm too lazy to pedal. Let me throttle some with it. Throttle and pedal. Pedal at 3. Assist level 3. Go up this hill. Seems like a cemetery on our right. What is this? First Evangelical Lutheran Church and School on our left. Oak Hill Cemetery on our right. We go through the cemetery. You guys ever do that before? Actually, I've seen somebody before take a bike and go through a cemetery. Don't know why, but there are people who do like going through cemeteries. Here's an interesting fact I just found out about a week or so ago. Robert Reed, remember Robert Reed? Mr. Brady on the Brady Bunch. Yeah, he's buried in Skokie, Illinois. I kept thinking, what's he doing in Skokie, Illinois? Well, it turns out, apparently, he grew up in Highland Park, Illinois, and he went to Northwestern University, I guess. So he must have family out in the Illinois area, because he's buried out in Skokie, Illinois, which is not that far from where we are. Yeah, it's kind of hilly in this area here. Yeah, you know, the thing is, if you got hills like this, yeah, you're going to want an e-bike. Climb the hills a lot easier. Okay, this is County Highway H. So I don't think we're going to do that. Maybe we should head back. I don't think this is a good thing for us to be on. Now you might notice that I'm struggling a little bit as I turn around, and the reason is because there's not a lot of space between the handlebar and my body when I get off the saddle, because the saddle pushes you forward, so your body goes right up to the edge, and usually what ends up happening is my cell phone mount gets turned. You'll see it sometimes cockeyed or something, and that's simply because it's kind of tight. So we decided we're going to turn around. I don't think I want to be on that road. I brought one chain and lock with me, and Mrs. Wright wanted to know why I'm bringing it, and I said, well, you never know. We might have to stop somewhere and have to chain the bikes together. It's actually the chain that was given to me by Varla Scooters. Very cheap chain, but hey, it's better than nothing. That's the way I see it. Better than nothing, and again, somebody would have to be wandering around with bolt cutters to do it, and I guess a thief would be doing that. They would use bolt cutters to cut something like this. It's really cheap chain, but you know, it stops the casual guy from trying to take your bike. If you have to stop somewhere, if you have to go to the washroom or something, which is not a bad thing for me right now. I wouldn't mind going to the washroom at this point. You know, you drive a certain distance. Thing is, I don't know where that would be. So I'm keeping my eye on Mrs. Wright, making sure she's still back there. She's following me this time because she doesn't know where she's going either. So she said, you just pick wherever we go, and that's where we go. Can you guys hear the cicadas? At first I thought it was the motor of the bikes, but no, those are the cicadas. Some cicadas have this low droning, it sounds like. Others seem to be a higher pitched noise. So maybe they have different types. I think there's like a 13-year and a 17-year cicada, but I don't think they're supposed to have it this far up north. I think these guys might be the 17-year variety. I definitely hear it. Can you guys hear it? And as I look on the trees, you look on every single tree, you can actually see cicadas hanging on them. So yeah, they've got their share. What I should have done was probably paid attention as to the actual street names where the car is parked, so we can find the car back again. But it can't be that difficult. It's by the police department. We should be able to find that. And it's a slow, relaxing ride today, I think. I think that's really about all we can do. Thing is, Lake Geneva is known for all these mansions that are around the lake. You know, like the Wrigley family has their own mansion, and it's like Wrigley Gum. Remember those guys? Yeah, and other people too. I don't know if they still own that or they just call it the Wrigley Mansion still, but Who knows? If we keep going forward, I see water. I mean, I wouldn't mind riding on that, but Mrs. Wright doesn't want to do it. She says, we've been there before. Well, true, but that is the whole touristy point of Lake Geneva, is to be by the lake. If we don't ride there, then we're not really riding the lake. We'll go up a little bit more. Yeah, still sniffling. Today is, I would say about 67 degrees right now here. All right, we're gonna have to turn here because if we go a little further, we will run into the lake. Oh, can't turn there. Further up, we can turn one more. All right, I think if we stay on the outskirts, we should be okay. See if we can pass through there. Wave thank you to the guy who let us through. And I don't know if Mrs. Wright is there. Yep, she's there. Hard for me to see her. I can't see her if she's not on the left side. She was on my right-hand side. Don't want to leave her behind, right? I think the thing is with all these stop signs, I think the cars see us and then they just kind of stop and wait for us to make a move. Nobody wants to hit the bike rider. So you don't want to be the guy that does that. Oh, okay, we're back at where the car is. Yeah, we're back by the police department. Yeah, so straight ahead is where we parked. I could see our car with the bike rack there. Let's go this way. Now I show a shared bike path on this road because it's painted on the ground. All right, we're heading further away from the lake, but that's okay. Oh, this says bike route. Let me talk to her. I would say it's pretty hilly. This area is definitely pretty hilly. This is a school that we're coming past here. Let's see, Eastview Elementary School. Gotta keep going. It goes into their parking lot, so we can't do that. All right, let's lower the pedal assist here. Do a little pedaling. You know, this bike is a cadence sensor. You don't really have to pedal hard, and the bike will help you out. Just gotta keep your legs moving, it'll help you out. So we are heading away from the water. That's okay, let's do it anyway. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, I noticed recently in the Nextdoor app. You guys have a Nextdoor app? Somebody was saying that they were selling their house at Lake Geneva. So I looked it up. About a 2,200 square foot house, $525,000. I go, wow, that's a lot of money. But I guess they said that it's within walking distance of the lake. So I guess if you wanted to be near the lake, maybe it's worth $525,000. It's not that far off, really, if you think about it. Even houses in our general area may not be $525,000, but it'd be getting up there as well. Now the thing is, you have to feel comfortable living up in the area. There's people from Chicago eventually moved to Wisconsin as well. They like the Wisconsin life. I like to visit Wisconsin. I don't know whether I would like to live in Wisconsin. I guess I'm used to a lot more activities from like someplace like Chicago. All right, we're gonna have to turn around here. I'm gonna stop here a second. All right, we turned around. Mrs. Wright is in front of us now. Let's catch up to her. Yeah, there she is. So this is the Jaguar Rundy. Now we didn't take the U-free bikes because first off, we only have one battery for each bike. And if we went any type of distance, we would need that second battery, especially for me. But as you know, Mrs. Wright pedals all the time. And she, like I said before, she can do easily 30 miles with the Jaguar Rundy and only do like maybe 2 or 3 bars down from her battery. She did the Bike to Drive, Lakeshore Drive, Chicago, 30 miles of that. I was on the second battery and she's still on the first. So I told her to take the lead because I said really all we have is this general area going in and out of their neighborhoods. So yeah, she can lead us at this point. She can go wherever she wants to go. We'll just follow her. It has a change of pace, right? It's a different type of houses as we're passing by. I have my saddle pretty high up. Mrs. Wright has a saddle that's good enough for her. And she's pedaling. I'm looking at her leg extension. It's probably a little lower than it should be, but she said it was fine. I mean, I only guessed at where the height should be, so I just put it there. She said, yeah, it feels okay, so she took it. All right, so we got to cross this major street here. All right. The thing is, the Jaguar Rundy also has cruise control, and like many of the magicycle bikes, if you push down hard on your throttle, the bike will start taking off on you. This is something that you have to be aware of, and all you do is just tap the brake to stop it from doing that. So you got to remember, if you're going to throttle up, you got to slowly throttle up, otherwise it will start taking off. I mentioned before too on my bike that the front brake kind of has that gurgling sound whenever you pull the brake, and I think it's because the brake pad's hitting the rotor, which has typically like little holes in the rotor. I think we're hearing that. It doesn't do anything to it, it just sounds a little weird. Her bike doesn't do that, mine does, and so I have other bikes that do that too, so it's not a big deal, but in case you hear it, that's just so that you know what that is. Yeah, I think the most interesting thing I'm finding here is actually hearing and seeing the cicadas on the trees. I've actually been looking forward to seeing that, but we haven't had it in our area. So, you know, to me, it's kind of amazing. Now, not all of them have it. Like I'm looking at trees here, they don't have it, and you don't hear it. So I guess certain neighborhoods, the cicadas have come out, and other neighborhoods they haven't. I suppose there is always a possibility that you might not get cicadas in your area. Maybe there's none in the ground in your area, for all you know. So, who knows? Who knows? Chimney, all 4 seasons chimney. I think I'm more used to seeing Mrs. Wright in the front. I actually feel better that she's in front. That way I can keep an eye on where she is. When she's in the back, I'm constantly looking in my rear view mirror to make sure she's there. I mean, there's no reason she wouldn't be, but, you know, I keep looking. Alright, straight ahead, there's water again. So I'm expecting she will turn, and she does. Yeah, some of these houses are fairly large. Look at the ones on the left side here, just pulling the camera so you can see some of these houses. They're kind of cool looking. Yeah. A little different. Alright, she is heading towards the water. It's kind of surprising me. I don't know if she's going to go through it though, or whether she'll turn around. We shall see what she does. Alright, we opted to take a right. I mean, the street is 25 miles an hour. Can't be too bad. The other thing is there are cars, of course, there's cars behind us. She's not used to that. I'm kind of used to it. So we'll see if she keeps going straight or whether she turns on the next possible turn. And she turns. I kind of figured she would. All right. This is part 2 of Lake Geneva. I am on my own. We dropped Mrs. Wright off at the car. She's gonna wait in the car. I'm gonna see if I can ride by the lakefront a little bit, show you guys what that looks like. The thing is, Mrs. Wright is not used to riding on the streets quite like I am, and so you know, to do any of these things to her is a tough thing to do. So I'm just gonna take areas that she probably would not do. So she said, go ahead and do it. She says, go and take a look around, let you guys see what it looks like. Okay, and that's what we're gonna do. All right, so we're going into the heart of the tourist area. I asked her if you know, if she wanted to leave her bike out and not back up on the bike rack in case I find areas that might be interesting she might want to look at. And she goes, nah, forget it. So, okay. I mean, there are people with bikes out here. It's just that she's not used to being on it. So, we'll take a ride over here. The thing is, you can't really ride directly on the walkway area. But if you're on the streets, here, let me show you. I'm pulling the camera to show you to the left there. So they have this thing called the Riviera, which is over to our left-hand side. And if we go straight, we just head out of this thing. So I think what we'll do is let's take a left turn over here. It says do not enter, we can't turn left there. So we gotta go around it. So I think what we'll do is I'm gonna stay here with the cars. And then we'll take a left turn at that stoplight. The thing is, you know, a lot of times if people aren't used to seeing bikes on the road with them, it kind of freaks them out too. So, but the thing is, if you want to take a left turn, you kind of have to be on the road with them. I mean, how else would you take a left? You got to be in the left turn lane to do it. All right, the area we're coming up to here is kind of the main drag. This is where everyone goes for shopping opportunities. Well, I'm not shopping. Russ doesn't shop, you know that. All right, now the question is, should I turn here already or should I go further down and turn? Hard to say. Hard to say. And every time I have to stop, I'm falling off this bike here. Let's turn. Let's take a left out of here. All right. Riviera Beach, it says. Thing is, you got to keep your eyes open because, you know, sometimes cars will pull out of parking spots. So up ahead is the beach area, which of course we're not going to go. Oak Fire. This is, I guess this is some eating areas. Popeyes, casual dining. See, the Riviera is over to our right side. Let me angle the camera. See that building there? That's called the Riviera. Inside there's a whole bunch of other things, other touristy eateries and other things like that. Let's go down this way here. So you see all the boats and everything all parked up, docked up. They're not technically docked, they're just kind of floating out there. I'm just angling the camera so you guys can see it. All right, and as you go further, it's just more of this. Gino's Eats Pizzeria. Gino's Eats is actually a Chicago thing. All right, I think we're done. Let's take our left turn over here. Go up this hill. You know, the thing is, it is quite hilly. So really, having an e-bike really pays off. You don't have an e-bike, yeah, you're gonna suffer going up these hills. Some of them are fairly steep. It's like a little park to our left. All right, I gotta figure out where I parked, where Mrs. Wright is. It says, do not enter. Wants us to turn. Do not enter. Hey, I don't want to turn. I guess I got no option. We got to turn it. Wonder if I can just swing back around. Yeah, maybe I can swing back around after this. Let's put the pedal assist levels up a little bit here. So I'm throttling and pedaling. Can I turn here? Let's try this. Will this bring us back? I think it's going to bring us back. Yeah, see, how would you like to have a house around here? Straight ahead is the lake. Have a house here, you'd be walking distance to the lake. These houses have got to cost a lot of money. Yeah, the thing is, Lake Geneva is kind of seasonal. Wintertime, yeah, you're not going to see anybody out here. It's a nice area, though. So you guys from the Chicago area, if you've never been to Lake Geneva, yeah, take a drive up here. Check it out. It's Bella Vista Suites, it says. That's this other area. I don't think that was us. I heard something clink. I think that was just something else. I don't think that's us. I don't see anything that dropped off. Should I turn here? Go straight. Let's go straight. We'll go straight. Flatiron Park. Now, a little clinking you hear is the chain that I have that's sitting on the front basket. It's kind of chained up to the front basket. Yeah, nice. Boat rentals. You could rent a boat out here. We're not going to do that. All right, we'll head back. All right, anyway, I appreciate you guys following along. Took a while for us to be able to see some of the lake, but at least she allowed us to do it. Hey, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. I'll talk to you guys next time.